Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Temple Institute Parsha class. My name is Gedalia Meyer, and I'm podcasting from Maludumim in Israel. There are but a handful of things in life that are truly precious. Love is certainly one, whether it comes from a deep relationship with a partner, or from family, or from some other source. Another might be some sense of meaning and purpose in life, but it must meet that highly restrictive and highly personal qualification of being truly fulfilling. A third, some might say, is gaining some awareness of spirituality in life. While this very possibly overlaps with the first two, it is unique in certain ways. It involves that very palpable but almost indescribable sense that there is something more to the world than the world. It might come from praying or becoming one with nature or simply allowing oneself to be. But like the others, it is precious. There are a few other things that one person or other might include in this elusive territory. Some might include the experience of discovery, whether it be in the form of knowledge of some kind or of some awareness that had never been noticed previously. For those who have had to undergo it, another experience, survival, may represent the pinnacle of life's treasures. If one has had a close brush with death, the realization that one has made it through is about as precious as they come. Certain forms of pleasure might also make the grade here, though it can be difficult to sort out between the momentary thrills and the true worthwhile forms of this highly desirable feeling. We're going to zero in on the third member of our exclusive list, the spiritual experience. Many people can go their entire lives without ever undergoing such an experience. Life is simply a continuous stream of mundane and physical actions, utterly devoid of this mysterious quality. It is possible that some of these people do experience something spiritual at times, but it is so familiar and so vague that they are oblivious to what is really going on. This is one of the more frustrating things about spiritual experiences. We tend to not recognize them even when they are right in front of our eyes. But when a person does go through such an experience and they are aware of what happened, there is nothing quite like it. It makes everything else seem trivial in comparison. It may last from a split second, or it may endure for hours. It can be spontaneous, like a bolt out of the blue, or the result of sustained efforts in meditation, contemplation, or some other interaction with the non-physical. It is always difficult to describe to someone else, but it can be dramatically vivid to the one who undergoes it. It may be euphoric, but it can also be unsettling. Spiritual experiences are windows into a world that is not normally present. For those who believe, they are interactions with God. These things have been going on since the time that human beings acquired a mind that was capable of absorbing more than what is going on right in front of their faces. In a sense, any abstract form of thought is a spiritual experience. Even something as normal and as expected as awareness of time is spiritual. We don't see time. We don't feel it or sense it in any way. But we know that it is there somewhere and that we somehow swim within its current. To this day, contemplation of the passing of time remains one of the royal roads to the spiritual experience. Imagining the past while being firmly embedded in the present can be nothing short of mystical if one is attuned to what is really happening. This method is one that is employed in many religious traditions. Judaism in particular concentrates on this technique. While many Jews may not be fully aware of this, the frequent focus on things from the distant past is really meant to be a spiritual experience. It is attempting to relive those events that formed the foundations of the Israelite/Jewish story through study, through ancient practices, and most importantly, through contemplation. This coming Shabbat marks the beginning of the biblical festival of Sukkot. This is one of the three biblical pilgrimage festivals, when a sizable portion of the population would make their way to wherever the central shrine was located. For most of Israelite history, this was the temple in Jerusalem. At the temple, the ritual offerings were brought, and for everybody there, this was one of the main focal points. But both for those who were there and those who weren't, the main observance of the holiday was through two distinct practices that are described explicitly in the Torah. Quote, "The 15th day of the 7th month shall be the festival of Sukkot, 7 days directed to God. The first day will be a sacred holiday with no doing any forms of work. For 7 days you shall bring fire offerings to God, and on the 8th day it shall be a sacred offering to God for you, and you shall bring a fire offering to God. It is a time of ceasing from doing all forms of work." And then further on, and you shall take for yourselves on the first day the fruit of a citrus tree, and palm fronds, and branches of a myrtle bush, and willows from a stream, and you shall rejoice before Hashem your God for 7 days. And then still further, in Sukkot, or huts, you shall dwell for 7 days. Every citizen of Israel shall dwell in Sukkot, in order that future generations will know that I had the Israelites dwell in Sukkot when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am Hashem your God. There it is in all its drama. It is all contained in that one paragraph. It lasts for 7 days, with an 8th day tacked on at the end as a kind of holdover of the festival. It is to be dedicated to God. That much is made clear a few times in this paragraph. The two particular practices are spelled out here and only here in the entire Torah. The first is the taking of those 4 plant species: the citrus fruit, which is traditionally associated with a lemon-like fruit called an etrog, the palm fronds from a date tree, the myrtle branches, which are twisted and filled with small leaves, and the willow branches, which can be long or short. Jewish tradition has established this to be done by holding the 4 species together during the time of morning prayer and waving them around in multiple directions. While this may seem a bit strange and may not seem to be all that spiritual, it is the standard ritual that Jews have observed for thousands of years. The second practice, which is probably better known, is to dwell in these Sukkot, or huts. This, of course, is the source of the name of the festival. The Sukkot are meant to be simple, nothing more than huts in which one could live. These are not intended to be permanent houses, for that would defeat the whole purpose. The intention behind these huts was that future generations maintain some recollection of what things were like during the Exodus from Egypt. That foundational event, when the connection of the Israelites to God was at its peak, dictated to some degree the entire future of the nation. To recollect this event, future generations would spend the week of Sukkot living in Sukkot. Simply speaking, the huts were just huts. There doesn't seem to be anything particularly spiritual about that either. Frequently in practice, it doesn't really come out as a very spiritual experience. It's just heading out to the porch to eat a meal and maybe staying there a bit longer to enjoy the breeze and the company of friends. Many people now even have their Sukkot located in a part of the house. They have a removable roof which they replace with the branches or mats that form the essential roof of the dwelling, and that's that. It may not be all that effective in recalling the Exodus. Perhaps because of this shortcoming, there is a rabbinic tradition which interprets Sukkot not as mere huts, but as, quote, clouds of glory, the clouds of glory which surrounded the Israelites as they journeyed around the Sinai desert for almost 40 years. While it is unclear what these clouds really were, there is no question that they were in some way associated with the presence of God. This is a completely different interpretation of the word Sukkot than the simple idea of huts. A hut is about as physical as it gets, while clouds of glory are about as spiritual as it gets. The interpretations are not mutually exclusive. The hut idea doesn't deny that the clouds of glory surrounded the Israelites on their journeys, just that they weren't the Sukkot. The clouds of glory interpretation agrees that the Israelites did live in huts, but again, this was not the intention of the word Sukkot in those verses. Both, in their own ways, contribute to the overall sense brought about by this festival. It was meant to re-experience those epic journeys throughout future generations. This is what Sukkot is really all about. But what are those clouds? If one wishes to understand things without the help of all the midrashic commentary on those clouds, at their very simplest, they were the spiritually palpable presence of God as it exists in the world. This is frequently referred to in Jewish sources as the Shekhinah, a vague word that means something like dwelling presence. This is a kind of reality that exists all around us at all times, but of which we are almost entirely unaware except at certain opportune moments. Those moments, it should come as no surprise, are the spiritual experiences we have been discussing. Judaism would say that a spiritual experience is when one senses the reality of that divine presence called the Shekhinah. It is usually not visible in any way, but that doesn't mean it cannot be seen. It may come in the form of a rainbow, but most rainbows come and go without any sense of the presence of God. It may come in the form of a passing moment of time, which may be felt like a breeze in the air. It may be the thick darkness of a foggy night, or the feeling that one is truly alive. It could appear in a pattern of numbers, or in the company of a dear friend. It can really come about in almost any situation, but it certainly helps if the person experiencing it and the surrounding conditions are receptive and conducive towards creating the proper mood. This is really what Sukkot is all about. It is a week-long retreat without necessarily going anywhere, in which the subtle and mysterious element of God's presence is added to the normal routine of life. Whether it comes through feeling the living force of species of plants, or through getting a bit out of one's comfort zones, or through meditations on God's reality in the world, it is available to all. It is up to us to create this experience, and the festival of Sukkot requires that we taste the opportunity. Most of all, it is a time for joy. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.